Well, first of all, thanks for showing up, everyone. How's everyone feeling?
Great.
Great? Perfect. I'm happy to hear that. So today I'm going to talk about Gutenberg. Who heard about Gutenberg before? Wow, that is pretty impressive. So, let me show you a little bit about the past, then I talk about the present, and then I talk about the future. So let's start with the past. Gutenberg is actually, well, the original Gutenberg, Johannes Gutenberg, or as we used to say in Germany, Gutenberg, is a German printer. In 1455, he developed the printing business as we know it nowadays. So what he did back then was, well, technically, what happens back then is there was no printing. So everything that was like available in books was handwritten. So usually, if you want to have a book, you would go to people in a monarchy, and they would write it down. So what Gutenberg did actually is to reinvented the publishing business. So he carved letters out of wood. He was able to place all these letters on a big frame and then put color on it and print it. So this is actually how these single letters look like. So that makes it much easier to flexibly print stuff. What they also did back then with the printing business was they carved entire pages and printed them, and they realized if there's a misspelled word, so you can throw the entire frame away and carve it new. So that's not really efficient. Well, back then, when it comes to the printing business, the Bible was only accessible for the rich people. So normal people wouldn't have access to the Bible. And a lot of people said when Gutenberg actually invented the printing business and published the first Bible and make it available to all people, a lot of people said this is wrong. We should not give that book to people without education, to the poor people. They have no idea how to read and how to interpret the Bible. This is a holy book and it should not be accessible to the world. So that was very controversial back then. Well, nowadays we're super happy, obviously, that he invented the printing business and that information is available to everyone. So with Gutenberg, we kind of have a similar situation. Who heard about Matt Mullenweg? I hope everyone. So he's the CEO of Automatic. He's the founder of WordPress itself. And he said, we call it Gutenberg for a reason. The reason is some people love it, some people hate it. There's hardly anything in between. So it's either full on Gutenberg or it's totally against Gutenberg. So let me tell you a little bit about the present. What is Gutenberg actually? Let me tell you some facts up front. The number is incorrect, by the way. At the moment we have 29% already. 29%. And that is thanks to all of you. So 29% of the web is powered by WordPress. There are more than 50,000 WordPress plugins in the official .org repo at the moment. More than 5,000 themes are available in the repo on WordPress.org. There are more than 10,000 themes on ThemeForest. Until now, there are 774 WordCamps. In fact, there are 3 WordCamps today. It's one in Kuala Lumpur, that's one in Utrecht, and there's one in Riga. And there are more than 1,000 WordPress meetup groups all around the world. I'm pretty sure that Kuala Lumpur has a meetup group. Yeah. Jakarta has a meetup group. I live on Bali. We also have a meetup group. There are meetup groups everywhere. If you never heard about a meetup group, look it up. If there's a meetup group in your city, join the meetup groups. It's a perfect way, a perfect opportunity to get in contact with other people. And usually a meetup group is very open. You can talk about everything. So these are the facts about WordPress. Now the facts about Gutenberg. So as I said before, when Gutenberg developed the printing business, he actually didn't carve the entire page out of wood, but he carved these single letters. So Gutenberg follows the same model or the same philosophy. So instead of carving everything out of one piece, we actually have these different blocks and placeholders. So we break down the functionality into smaller pieces. So a block could be a headline, could be an image, could be a gallery, could be a text item. So it's a very powerful design tool. Who uses Visual Composer? A few. Who uses Beaver Builder? Okay. So I guess everyone knows what a page builder is. So the thing is, you can love it or hate it, but especially for people who are not really developer or very techy persons, a page builder makes creating pages very easy. So you can drag and drop, you can click it together. You kind of see how the page will look like in the final version. So Gutenberg kind of follows that same strategy. So with Gutenberg, you actually have these different blocks that you can click together. It is not a real one-on-one, so what you see in the back end is not 100% accurate to what you see in the front end, but it's pretty close to the final result. We also work on plugin support. So at the moment you have plugins installed, well, let's say Yoast SEO, which hooks into the post, but you need to find around and scroll. You have Contact Form 7 that you need to customize somewhere, and then you need to create a shortcode, and then you go back to your post or page and you insert the shortcode. So it's a little bit back and forth, and you need to pull these informations from everywhere. With Gutenberg, we work on native plugin support. So other than jumping around and pulling all these pieces from different places together, you can actually integrate plugins directly into the post. So let's say you want to integrate a Contact Form 7. You're within your post, and then you have a block for Contact Form 7, and you can integrate that block right away. So it's much easier to add these plugins to your pages. We have a very good embed support. So embeds is when you integrate external services into your site. An example is YouTube, Vimeo, Pinterest. What do you think, how many embeds does the current editor support?
Around 40, 50, 50.
30. So the thing is, when I read that number, I was pretty impressed. At the same time, shocked. So there are 30 embeds that the current editor supports. The majority of people have no idea how to access these and what are these 30 embeds actually. So with Gutenberg, we kind of take that pain away and we make everything transparent. So other than looking into the documentary, what embeds are available, we actually create custom blocks for that, and you can easily integrate that block. So, and last but not least, and that is a feature that we work on at the moment, that's collaborative editing, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later. So here on that slide, I hope you can see it. These are the blocks and the placeholders. So it kind of looks like the current editor. So you have that tiny plus here on top. If you click it, it actually opens up a list with all kinds of elements. So here we have paragraphs, images, galleries, headlines, quotes, lists, cover images. The list goes on. These are the standard elements at the moment, but we also work on, we have a huge list, a huge backlog of elements that we like to add in the future. This is how the design tool looks like. So as you can see, the cover image on top, that would be something with the current editor. It would probably be a feature image. So it's somewhere on the side, but you can't really tell how does the website look like when it's live. With Gutenberg, it makes it much easier to see these changes. You have the title, you have that cover image, a little bit of text, a little bit more of text. You have a different variation of an image. Here you get some quotes. So it makes, for an author, it's much easier to see how the content will look like. Here's the plugin support. It's not live at the moment, so we're working on that. The idea is that if you're within a post or a page, you can directly search for a plugin. It actually gives you that list of all available plugins, and you can integrate it right away. I'm gonna answer questions after the presentation. So this is the embed support, and here you can actually see all available embeds. That's a lot. As I mentioned before, with the current editor, it's really hard to know what embeds are actually available. With Gutenberg, it's super easy. So you click on the plus, you go to the embed section, you have that huge list of all available embeds, and you say, okay, well, I have Polldaddy, or SoundCloud, or CloudUp. So, and that's super easy to see, okay, well, this is actually the service I'm using. This is the embed code, and you embed it. So this is the collaborative editing, and with the collaborative editing, who knows Google Apps, like Google Sheets, Google Docs? Yeah. So with Google Apps, you actually have that collaborative editing already. So you can work on a document, and at the same time, your friend can also work on a document, and you see these changes in real time. Currently with WordPress, it's not possible to work on one document at the same time with multiple people. That is not a big problem if you run a personal blog, if you're the only author that actually creates that creates posts. It is, however, a huge problem when you talk about publishing businesses. So one example is the New York Times is one of our customers that runs within the WordPress VIP program. And you can imagine a newspaper like New York Times, they have multiple editors. When they create extensive posts, there's probably more than one author involved in creating that story, also with the reviewing part. So for them, it's kind of crucial of having access to a document at the same time with multiple people. There might be an author, and there might be someone who does the review and gives tips. So with Gutenberg, we're actually working on that collaborative editing at the moment. So you can log in with multiple accounts at the same time, work exactly on the same document. You can easily see who's working on which feature at the moment. So it shows the name. And this is actually a screenshot where we place two browsers next to each other. So on the left-hand side, you can actually see that the other person is working on that image. So here you can see the name of this person here. Whereas on the right-hand side, you can actually see that section here is currently edited by that author. So, and we think this is a very powerful tool, and it really supports the publishing business in the future. So the advanced features is, well, it has the better visuals. It makes it much easier to see how does it look like. It has these global blocks. So a global block is kind of like a placeholder. So imagine you have a section where you have a title and you have probably 3 images of your team, the CEO, the CTO, and the CFO, and you want to add these sections on multiple pages. Well, you could create them over and over and over again, but you can also create it as a global block. So you create it once, you save it, put it in your library, and on every single page where you actually want to show that global block, you simply include that one. So it's kind of like a snippet that you create. Other than the current infrastructure, Gutenberg is written in JavaScript, or it uses a lot of JavaScript. So the people who are familiar with the current system, how WordPress runs, it's mainly written in PHP. So most of the plugins are coded in PHP, which is good. But it doesn't use the full power of modern technologies. It runs on the server. And with JavaScript, we can actually boost it up. We can make it much faster. We can load specific sections in real time, other than asking the server to send us everything in the data. So we use ES5 and ESNext. So ESNext is the latest version of JavaScript. Can use both. ES5 works a little bit better when it comes to backwards compatibility. ESNext, if you use that one, you need to add a couple of additional tweaks, or you say, okay, well, I don't really care about Internet Explorer older versions. Don't do that, and then you can use ESNext. That's also fine. So, what about the future? Gutenberg will be shipped with WordPress 5.0. So, and the thing is, 5.0 will be shipped when Gutenberg is ready, and not the other way around. I know that some people might be a little bit afraid of automatic launching Gutenberg as a kind of half-ready product. We definitely have these concerns in mind, and this is not going to happen. So currently the release cycle is every Monday Gutenberg has a new release. So and we have more and more developers, so that from week to week the team is actually growing. The release logs get longer and longer. We still have a lot of things to do until we actually reach that point that Gutenberg is ready to ship. But we see that we become faster and faster from week to week. Yeah, and as mentioned before, so as soon as we, but also as the community thinks that Gutenberg is ready to go live, then we're gonna integrate it in WordPress 5.0, and it will replace the current editor. So here I placed a couple of links. Yeah, I don't know if you can read it so good, but I can also upload the files to the WordCamp site, or ask the organizers to publish these documents. These are mainly links for developers. So if you're interested in Gutenberg, in contributing in the development, but also in creating your own blogs, get more information, what is it? So now is actually the starting point. We have a lot of discussions how to solve specific problems, and we're happy for every helping hand when it comes to Gutenberg. Last but not least, install Gutenberg today or tomorrow, also fine. At the moment, Gutenberg is available as a plugin. It is a beta version, so we strongly recommend not to use it in a production system. Install it on your own machine, in your sandbox, in your staging environment, play around with it, try to break it. We're super happy for everyone who actually is able to kind of destroy it and report back to us and say, okay, well, I've done this and this, and it totally freezes. Oh, fix it. Because that actually makes a better product. We're also happy for all feedback that we get. Everything that is missing or required that makes your life easier as developer, as designer, as publisher. We try to create it as wide as possible. So again, install Gutenberg, play around with it, get involved in the discussions. Now is the time. Speaking about time, now is the time for questions, and I'm happy to answer all questions.